Great.
So if you let us know in the chat on the right, to the right, that you can hear us and we are audible, then at least we know that something is happening, something is going.
Okay, so perhaps if the problems cannot be resolved on a technical side on the host, that we can start so that you can benefit from the meeting. Yeah, so maybe in the meantime, let them deal with the technical things, and we could start. Yes. So actually, the host Vasavvi, she has asked us to start, so we could start. In the meantime, they can sort it out. Oh, we can see that also. Yeah, Nellie is. Yeah, there are more panelists coming and joining, so that's okay. That's great. Hello, Hello, Eric. Hello, Nellie. Can you hear us? Okay.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, great.
Yeah.
Great. We can hear you and you can hear us, Nellie, yes?
Yes. Yes. This is Nellie. I can hear you.
Great, great.
Great. So Vasavvi asked us all to start the engaging with participants and start the transmission, since there are some technical problems.
Yeah, there is quite a lot of people who have already joined, so everybody welcome again. So we could start, I think.
Yes.
And we can wait for another panelist, and hopefully they will be back with us soon.
So what we suggest, let us briefly introduce ourselves.
Yes.
What we do, and I guess we start with you, Nellie, because this was the part of the original agenda. Yes.
Yes. Hi everyone. I'm Nellie Ahmed from Maria's Public School and Maria Montessori House of Children. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm the founder director of the school, and I've been heading the school for the last 30 years. And yes, it's been a huge learning experience and a lovely journey to manage these little ones. And today in this period of lockdown, but we've not locked our minds, so therefore we are here all together.
Oh yes, definitely.
Here to share all of us, all our ideas and all our thinking caps are on. Here we go.
Okay, great, absolutely, absolutely.
So
thank you.
You are in India at the moment. We are joining you from Malaysia.
Yes, we're in Malaysia right now. We are locked down in Malaysia.
Okay.
But as you said, the minds are not locked down, so we are doing our best to connect with as many educators and parents as well at the same time, to support all of us during these challenging times. So
briefly about ourselves, we are natural leaders. I'm Magdalena.
And my name is Witold.
We are teacher trainers and assessors in early years education and play work. We used to run our own nurseries in the UK and supplementary school for children, for multilingual children. Trained teachers, inspected early years provisions, preschools, nurseries, after school clubs, to make sure they deliver world-class education based on experiential holistic learning. We are authors of training program for teachers and parents, and ourselves, we are homeschooling parents, our home educating parents and world educating parents, we would say. Our son has been homeschooled, home educated since he was born. He's 14 this year, and it's been a great journey.
Yes, I'm sure it was.
Yes.
So in the view of the current times and the current situation, Nellie, let us start with your insight and your input that you prepared for all of us today.
Oh, well, from what I could feel, this lockdown has not harmed, it's kind of blocked some of our activities, and the schools have not opened. So there is a kind of a frustration in the children as well as teachers. How do we go about? What do we do? But at the same time, our minds are not locked. So we have come up with virtual classrooms, and that has happened for my high school, which is already going on. and they're going on successfully and with much enthusiasm, both from the learners as well as from the teachers. So with this in view, with our very little ones, they are not used to virtual classrooms. I'm talking in terms of the pre-primary. They're not used to the black screen all the time. They're not used at all. So how do we go about that? Because it's a real challenge managing this 3.5-year-olds right up to 6 years.
Of course.
And therefore, we are concentrating more on the 3 R's, your reading, writing, and singing and dancing. Probably that is the only way they will connect with you and they can relate to you. And this is what I sent a video to parents today, that you need to communicate with your children as much as possible through stories, to talking, to relating to them different kinds of stories, so that they are being communicated completely, because the parents have a lot in their hands right now. Teachers are not there so much, but we shall be there with them every day starting from next week, telling them all different kinds of the school routine basically will be on to them. As you know, I take these children as the natural beings. We cannot force them.
Yes.
Hey, this is it, come on, follow. No way. I would say the freedom they've got, it is theirs. And they will be learning from what the environment will offer them. And this environment must be done in a way that the children's learning challenges are, given very well. So it's not a free period or a freebie all the way. So let's be collectively giving these children of the world the best we can by our communication through this virtual world. And the challenges ahead for them is even more, because these children will learn much more than we taught them, because we will learn from them finally. What do you all say? Yes, Indrani?
Yes, we can hear you. That's amazing. Actually, we are aligned so much, because what you said right now, we learn from them.
Yes.
We learn from children, yes. They are our guides. So we observe them. We see what they need. We offer them the best environment. Yes, we follow their needs.
The biggest challenge right now during these times, we think, is that, as you said, we all, the parents and the children all together, we all need to create this learning environment at home, which will, cater for their needs and preferences, especially during these times, basically because, home environment is totally different to school environment. It's like a private space to relax, to enjoy your life, to hug with each other, to play, to watch and
to focus on your hobbies.
Focus on your hobbies, to self-develop, or just to do nothing, And now, out of a sudden, they as the children, as learners, they are supposed to carry on with the learning as it would be at school. But now it's home. It's home environment. It's not school environment. So this also can bring even some friction between children and parents, and children probably sooner or later may start, kind of questioning, why should I be learning at home so long? Usually I learn at school. Now I have to learn at home. So what's the deal? What's the situation? And here the challenge comes to us, the parents, to organize and arrange this learning environment at home, so that it's effective. It brings, outcomes and results for the children, but also the environments that take into full consideration, children's needs and preferences, especially the preferences and needs that they have at home. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to show the difference between the school learning environment and the home learning environment,
yes,
as different environments.
In school, we have many people working together. It's a team effort to sustain the structured environment. Yes, there's teachers there's head teachers,
there are
there's
lots
assistants,
of people, working.
There's classrooms, there's all kinds of structures in place, and lots of people working to sustain it. At home, we don't have this capacity.
Yeah. At home, we are only, parents, to set it up and maintain and sustain this learning environment at home. So there
was a question, I think, from a parent just now.
Yes, let's check.
There was a question from a parent just now.
Okay, so it's to you, I think.
Yes.
Okay, so would you like to address this question?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so so I don't know if everybody can see the question, but let me read it out for everyone. So the question is, what is the plan for the students who passed out class 11 and who are promoted to class 12?
Well, I think that question was for me.
Yes, it's to you. I'm just reading out to everybody.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I'm there. I think.
Hello.
We can hear the host.
Can I answer?
Yes, please do.
To the parent whose child is passed out of class 11, kindly download the form from the website, school website, fill it up and send it online, and the fee payment can be done online, and the class will start immediately. The virtual classroom will start immediately. So kindly contact the principal and she will give you all the details. This is Maushami Mahon. Is that class 11 parent? Please check our website. Our form is uploaded for class 12. Yeah.
Hello, yes.
Hi.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
A little bit.
Hello, Vasavvi.
Yeah.
Vasavvi. Yeah, you see you.
We can hear you a little bit, although it's not clear.
Right? Yes. Just a moment. Yes. So what we were, discussing was about keeping the current situation in mind. How do we future-proof our children? So that is my question to us panelist Nellie, Ahmed. So if she's there, she can speak on that.
Hello,
Redia?
Nellie.
Yes.
Yes. So keeping,
yeah,
we can hear you.
Yeah.
We can hear.
Okay, I can't see myself. That's it.
Okay. Probably the video is off.
For our children is leave them the way they are. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Are you talking, Vasavvi? Can you be age specific for this?
No, it's a general thing. I mean, basically, this future proofing in terms of adaptability probably, or making them physically, mentally, emotionally more aware and more resilient to such kind of situation that might happen. So probably you can target, children above 8 years and onwards.
Okay. It's a very interesting stage of a child's life at that point, because they are ready to take in. And when they're confined to the walls of their own homes and they keep seeing their parents all the time, it's very important for teachers to go online and be with them completely. And let the children also discover for themselves, what is the space for me? How do I go ahead? Because the teacher cannot be online all the time. The parents are not with them all the time, because they will have some relaxation. And that must be allowed, because that is the space for the child for working out on their own minds. This is what I need to do. And that, I think, is their right. We need to give them their time, their space, the energies to flow, so that they are able to hone their own skills and develop their own life skills for further sustainability in their future when they grow up, and when they move into a different environment, they're ready to roll into another and and adapt themselves to it. And that adaptability is where we need to take this forward with our children, instead of stifling them with do this and do that, and that's your routine. Come on, sit down, finish your work. Well, I think parents need to relax over here. Let them be. It is not their fault. It is not our right to be hounding them. I think they will learn in their own pace. And this is a challenging moment, both for adults,
very challenging. Both
both
for
for
adults
adults
and
as well as for children.
So, yes, absolutely. This is a crisis, and this is a period we never thought of in our entire lives. We never dreamt about it. We, kind of, it's like very difficult to adjust, it's even for a grown-up, and much more for a younger one. Do we think that, okay, they're children and they'll adapt and stuff, but they have their own challenges to face. So my next question to Magdalena and Witold, any one of you can take that. With the current crisis, many people started questioning the quality of education and worry what has been offered so far may not have helped children get ready for the future. So many parents worldwide are sharing their concerns about pen and paper based and academic oriented education, and started to see how much the current approach prioritizes learning that is based on worksheets and course books. How can parents support future oriented learning regardless whether they choose to follow traditional schools education or switch to homeschooling? So what have you got to say on that?
Okay, so I guess the first thing to do would be to think about what is future-oriented education in general, and especially in the middle of the crisis, we are all getting the understanding. Before the crisis, many of us were talking in the education system and in parenting. People were talking about future-proofing children and being ready, but there's been confusion what it is to be future-ready. Yes. So we are not able to predict what kind of technology will be available in the future. Just more or less, we can assume.
Well, definitely we don't know what kind of jobs will be needed and available in the, I don't know, future, like 10, 20, 50 years. That's very difficult to predict.
But there's one thing that we can predict, and we have always been able to predict. It's the kind of skill set and mindset that will always be valid. And now, in the past and in the future, in 10, 20, 50 years time. And what are those skills? What are those mindsets? So definitely it's an ability to collaborate, to build positive relationship, to be creative, to self-know, to know who we are as individuals, what kind of talents we have, what kinds of gifts we have, how to manage the talents. So how to recognize talents in other people. So the reasoning skills, be able to predict changes, be able to adapt to the changes that are happening. And especially now, none of us has expected this. The changes, it came overnight, yes? And are we able to adjust overnight? Can we cope with this overnight? So I guess to be future ready, this is something that we need to consider. Our children will need to be ready to address the challenges they will meet in the future, to be creative about them.
Yeah, I think creativity and communication are one of the biggest kind of assets right now and in the future, definitely. Creativity, communication, but also as Magdalena said, knowing yourself, who you are as an individual in relation to other people, so that we and knowing that we are not, still being individual, we are not solitary, we are not alone. So that's why this communication aspect as well. So to communicate effectively,
to create solutions to problem, yes, to reason,
to see causes and effects of actions. So,
and these things are very difficult to teach and learn via traditional academic pen and paper oriented learning.
Yeah.
So, because these are mostly about information and knowledge. Now, children can find information and knowledge everywhere. whether it's books, but mostly
Mostly
online.
on the online
So they
now,
can
internet.
access the
Everything is
information.
Yeah,
available.
he's calling you. I gave the number.
So
to him.
they
guy is
will
calling
be
you,
accessing this
the one who's holding
information
it. Okay,
and
I'm giving a number.
based on their own inner motivation. So what we need to make sure right now that we are offering them the education that connects them with practical skills. And this can only happen through experiential learning, through hands-on, through being hands-on, to doing things, to interacting with the world. So
not really learning and studying and reading about the world, but actually to being exposed to the world, to the experiences and contexts that come from the world towards children.
So what parents can do, and especially now in supporting this learning process at home, exposing children and engaging them in solving problems together in everyday situations, whether it is redesigning a home, whether it's cooking, baking, whether it's some technical things, whether it's painting, whether it's communicating, whether it's ordering some food online, whatever it is, it's a real life problem, real life situation, and a child needs to engage multiple skills at the same time.
Basically everything, as Nellie said before us, everything, anything is a learning context. We as human beings have this capacity to learn from anything and everything, from anyone and everyone. I like to say that we human beings are learning machines, and children are the masters of learning. We just need to give them space and safe learning environments, enabling environments, inspiring, motivating, and safe at the same time, so that they can learn. And they will learn, no doubt about it. They will learn from anything, everything, and everybody.
And also they've learned how to take the risks when the environment is safe enough for them to make mistakes.
So safe, but also...
so here, sorry to interrupt. Here I would want to, add what Darwin said, is it's not the most powerful or the most intelligent that survive, it's the most flexible. So here we need to teach our children, how to adapt. There are certain times, there's certain, challenges that come into their lives. So things may, get out of their comfort zone. Things may be difficult for them, but they have to be flexible. They should understand how to, kind of cope with a situation and go ahead and take out the most positive in even the negative that is there, that is around, So, so that is absolutely one thing I believe on. We have to make our children ready to take any kind of challenge and be flexible enough to mold and to change and to adapt. So adaptability is a major, thing that I feel is important. And here I would like to ask Mr. Witold that since now most of us had to switch to online learning, which is now, every school is doing online learning. I think every organization, institution is doing that. Many parents worry that there may be too much of technology and screen time involved in children's daily learning. So since you promote active learning, how would you suggest to maintain the balance between technology-based and hands-on experiential learning? So how do they maintain a balance? So can you elaborate on that?
So active learning, yes. Active learning is a whole approach in education, in our opinion, and this is from our direct experience, is one of the most effective approaches in education. Holistic active learning. Holistic meaning embracing, encompassing all senses, plus also addressing all areas of development, not only 2 or 3, as the tendency right now is, but all of them.
Technology.
Holistic active learning as not really opposed to, but as a kind of going shoulder to shoulder with technology, which is nowadays and will be in our lives. So the question is how to implement,
how to use it
how to implement in this holistic active learning in home environment.
So in this case, technology needs to be a trigger that take children to active learning, right? It's a trigger. It serves as a trigger. So when we use technology, when we offer applications, or they as a source can offer inspiration that children can take into the real world. If we have an app about construction, when the child constructs a crane or a building, if we offer enabling environments in the real life, the child can be engaged in researching and exploring and building the actual crane or something else, yes, yeah. Because technology inspired them.
For example, out of blocks, building blocks, or just everyday objects that are available at home right now during the lockdown. Basically, it's about how to follow up accordingly, how to follow on from what is available through technology. Because we are not talking about condemning technology and trying to take it away from children, because that would be counterproductive. That would never help, and it's not going to happen really. As I said, technology is available and present in our everyday life, and it will be. So it's about how to follow on from what children are engaged in via technology, and how to gently redirect them or guide them towards something that is outside the screen, something that is real.
And quite possibly connected to the content that was offered, yes?
But connected to the content that was initially in the application or on the screen. Because this is the transition. We need this bridge, we need this transition in order for the children to be willing to follow, to transition from screen to real life scenarios and situation, and again go back to the screen after a while, but then, you know, go over another bridge and go out to the reality again.
So in a case, for example, of our son, he's recently explored a context about ancient Greece via technology, and it inspired him to look for book in real life where he can explore further the content related to technology, to ancient Greece.
Yeah.
It was out of his inner motivation, and then he began his research. Yes, he's 14, but so he can do it independently and he can easily follow up on that. But in case of smaller children, it can be about building a boat, using or doing something, reading a book, a story, offering more active learning time, because technology is very passive. It addresses mostly hand-eye coordination, fine motor skills. It can address literacy, numeracy to a certain extent, but it's all passive learning. Whereas in the world, we use, as Witold said, the whole capacity or areas of development. When a child constructs with real blocks, they can engage the reasoning, they use their hands, they practice fine motor, gross motor, they explore balance, gravity, all kinds of things. They can predict whether a building will collapse or not, basing on their observation. And on the screen, it's possible only to limited extent. So when we offer this transition, offer more contexts in the real life, children will be immersed in active learning more. And this is the best way to use technology as a trigger.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to say something here. Yeah, very well said, Magdalena and Witold. Actually, I feel the children are very lucky. They're getting the real world to be their real self. They will be able to face the world that they may see it. We may not see that. And we should allow that freedom, because this is an experiential learning within the home. It could be like you said, it could be through anything, a brick, a log, or the fan. Why is it running? Why isn't it running the other way? These are little inquisitive curiosity which comes into the child without the teacher telling him to do so. So there are a lot of spaces, a lot of opportunities for the child to be out of the screen and into the real world. And that's what we should allow. And that is the sustained development and sustainable development further. And this experiential learning hands-on is something we can't teach. It should come from the child. And they're getting that opportunity in the home. If it is well taken care of, well directed by parents, if they have an observation that yes, my child is doing okay, he's on his own, he's researching, and that is where the child is actually learning and
yes, parents can if they follow up on the child without worrying that they need to organize the structure activities or plan or lesson plans. We have plenty of time now to observe this, how children can manage their time, how it doesn't have to be very, very rigid or very disciplined or very...
Plus, actually, this is one of the, I would say, key ingredients of future-oriented education, time management, and self-regulation, self-management, time management, self-regulation,
resources management.
In a long run, eventually self-directed lifelong learning, I would say. But for this to happen, we need this transition. And right now, we have an excellent opportunity for children to experience time management, to experience their self-regulation opportunities and trials, because they feel they will.
Can I invite Anubha Goyal with us?
Yes, please. We just want that. You know, we are waiting for her.
Come in. Welcome, Anubha. Please introduce yourself.
She's on. Is she
Are you there?
You just invite her. Send her an invite. I think she's trying to get in. In the meanwhile, I've got a question that I would like to read out. It's Mr. Ridhiman Das, who has written, my child is always asking about things on outside home. Why can't we go outside? Why can't we go to school, playground? I don't want to scare my child. How to handle the situation? My child is only 4 years old.
Oh, so sweet. So sweet. How do I get in? Anubha Goyal, please, we are all waiting for you.
Yes.
She cannot, I think she cannot connect.
Can you connect?
Probably.
I don't know. For some reason, she wrote in the chat some time ago that she cannot connect.
Yes.
So let us make
so let us address the question.
Yes,
so
Darpan Bora to all panelists. Nellie ma'am, please check. Yes, I would like Magdalena, if you want to answer that. Why is the 4-year-old wanting to get out of the house and not go to school? How sweet.
Well, why?
Yes, 4-year-olds will always want to get out of the house.
Yeah, I mean, that depends
Please tell the child we are missing him too.
Yes, so not the parents definitely will try not to scare the child. This is your concern. So children they attune very easily to what is going on. They can sense that something is different, something is not as it used to be. And if we don't share with them to a certain extent, certain facts, they will, some of them will try to explore on their own, but they will feel that something is not right. And this in turn might scare them even more, because they, in general, children are ready to handle the situation. They are ready for that. Depending on the stage and age of development, obviously, we need to think to what extent we want to give them the information. We don't want to give a 4-year-old very detailed information about what's going on.
COVID-19.
Yes,
and
but
all the technical details.
But part of the future-oriented education is helping children become aware of what is going on in the world, helping them take care of their own safety to the point that they can. They can be responsible for maintaining their hygiene. So this can be part of the mission as well, and,
right now, yeah,
and part of the fun in this difficult situation. Yeah. Children love being on the mission, and especially in the early years. So they love feeling empowered. They can be responsible for their own hygiene, for their own cleanliness, for monitoring what is going on. So offering them basic information about the safety, about the the virus situation, maybe through asking them questions, what they would like to know, how they feel, simplifying the situation, what is going on, that, you know, when we come closer to people, the bacteria can move from one another and we can feel sick. So it's better to keep the distance, it's better to protect each other in a very, you know, simple and gentle way. If you have access to some stories about hygiene in general, not necessarily about COVID, because maybe it's too early.
Yeah, but about hygiene and viruses.
Yeah, and I think I'm just putting in, storytelling is a very good way, you know, to get across your message. So your simple story is like, okay, there is something lurking in the environment that is creating some kind of a, you know, situation for you where we are not able to go out. So, and then, you know, we can just put the message across without scaring them. Yes. Because, you know, that scare in the first place, the fear, if it comes in, it's very difficult to remove. So we need to be very, very, I think, here we need to really understand the child psychology, and on the other hand, give the inputs in a little different way so that they understand. And I think story is the best medium to put out such things. And yes, and hygiene, which is very important. So teaching those things from early years, personal awareness, how we need to be more empathetic, how we need to be more aware about, you know, ourselves, our body, keep ourselves clean, help the other person. So empathy, a lot of things come in. So this is a big, I feel this is a huge learning opportunity for entire humanity. It is not about...
Yeah, Darpan Bora, can I speak, Vasavvi?
Yes, yes. Please.
Yeah, Darpan Bora, I think you wanted a question to be answered for your 4-year-old?
No, it is Ridhiman Das.
Ridhiman Das?
Yes.
Can you hear me? Ridhiman Das, can you hear me?
I think they have to unmute, but yes, you can answer. You can take that question. Yeah. I think they are muted, so you can just take that question.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was a very interesting question saying that how can stressed parents handle a stressed student, a stressed child in the home? How do we handle them? It is a stressful situation, we all understand, but let not the stress come overboard. Let the stress go down, and they can do a lot of yoga, a lot of exercises together, play board games, have a congenial atmosphere in the house. Right, parents, where are y'all? Do you agree?
Yes, I guess also it's important to focus on the word in the question is teach.
There was a key word. There was a key word in this question: teach. How can a parent teach? So maybe this should be addressed.
Yes. So we need to remember that parents are not teachers. Yes. So if you think about if you put so much pressure on yourself that you need to teach, it must lead to overstress and must lead to overwhelm, because you are not a teacher. Yes, you are a different person. You are a professional involved in completely something else, and it has never been probably your life choice to teach. Yes, so you don't need to teach. Parents don't need to teach unless they are teachers. Yes, but it's not our role as parents to teach. Our role is to support, to facilitate, to offer emotional support, to offer enabling environments, learning environments for our children to learn. And in a home environment, trying to teach will very soon lead to overwhelm, because you will be trying to achieve something, not necessarily knowing how to organize your time, how to organize learning goals. Teachers do that, they plan, yes, they know how to organize structured learning and workload. So parents' role is to offer enabling environments and emotional support.
Yeah, to enable learning environments which are safe and exciting and developmental, and facilitate opportunities and contexts rather than teach. Because if you as a parent start trying to teach, then sooner or later you will be stressed. And when you are stressed and you try to teach, when you are not a teacher, then obviously your children will be stressed very soon too. So the best scenario is, you know, that the Magdalena just said, just facilitate and enable environments that are exciting and learning and educational.
And how to do that? The easiest thing is to organize play and learning stations around the house together with your children.
We have a question, Magdalena. We have a question, and it's open for all. It's asked by Nenem. She's asking, can you please elaborate more on what are the activities we can do for preschoolers online? For a preschooler,
yeah, one thing I would like to state to parents here, that remember, the home is a home, it's not a school. Don't mix up both. Just because they are home, don't try and make your school home environment like a school. You are not teachers, as Magdalena has said. Try and involve them in the daily chores of your house whenever they are free. And let them do what they feel they want to do within the parameters of your permission or directions. That's very clear. The home is not the school.
Not a school.
And the mothers and fathers are not the teachers. They are the facilitators, and they are the helpers in communicating and giving them emotional backup and emotional strength. That's all we need. That's all the children need from the parents, as in the four walls of a house.
As of now. And you know, this question, Nanem, I think she's an educator, and she's running a school in somewhere in Dimapur in Nagaland, that is northeast of India. And this question is from her. So I would want to tell her that the activities you can plan, you know, some sessions with your children. It can be a rhyme session, it can be a storytelling session, and different sessions. And also you can give them assigned, you know, whatever is going on in the classroom. In case you want to give some activities for these preschoolers at home. And for online, yes, you can. I don't think an online class really works for a preschooler, because they're too
not
young.
for this range,
Not for preschooler. It doesn't work. They're too young and they're too distracted.
It's to be hands-on experiential.
Yes. So at the most, you know, you can give them some assignments that they can do from home, and then send you photos of what they did, some activities, some crafts where you can, you know, keep them involved. So that way the school can play a part in getting, you know, learning home. Because many a times we have seen one thing that because of these preschoolers from 2 to 6 years, that's my report. There I have seen that children listen more to the teachers, even grown-up children. They listen more to what the educator is saying or the facilitator is saying than the parent. So at times, you know, when we intervene and we put in, give them some work that do this or that for today, a little bit, there's some kind of discipline that is brought into their lives. And on the other hand, they are like, you know, they can explore and do whatever they want. So now for Nenem, the best thing that she can do is not start online classes, but give them small assignments, small craft activities and all, rhymes, so that the children can keep engaged during the day, you know, at least one little bit of the day. They can
Let me add on this one here.
Yeah, maybe you could elaborate on what you started talking about in terms of enabling environments through play and learning stations, because this is very specific, very concrete and practical tip for many parents here, not only for preschoolers. It works with all ages, even with adults, with teenagers as well.
But for preschoolers is a perfect way to engage them, and it puts everything on autopilot almost. So organizing your home space in terms of learning corners, learning stations that can be flexible and reusable, so that you don't need to think about, okay, what kind of activities I can engage them in. So
maybe let's say play and learning corners.
If you have 3 or 4, so that they can have a choice, and around the day they can go around the house and choose what kind of area they want to engage in. For example, a construction corner, when there is a corner with blocks or with some sand table, maybe possible. This depends on obviously of your situation is. Construction materials, construction blocks, or some, there's so many different kinds of construction toys. Then you can have Play-Doh corner on the other side, or creative corner, where they can engage in arts and crafts, in paperwork, in Play-Doh work, in this kind of thing. Then you can have a book corner, yes?
A reading corner.
That is, these activities, these corners are open all the time for children, yeah? So the children can engage them anytime they want, and you don't need to do anything with them.
Obviously, the key, the secret ingredient here is to be able to observe children so that you know their needs and preferences, so that you can create the learning and the play and learning corners that are suitable for their needs and preferences, not ours as parents. So that's very important, you know, child-centered observation.
If you have a very active child and if you have some spare space, you can convert it in a mini kind of even gym, yes? It's not very, you don't need to invest in any kind of special resources. A floor mat maybe is enough, some cushions for them to jump, you know, to roll over the floor. Yes. Things, very simple things like that, you know, and if you have 4 stations around the house, it's enough to keep them busy and, you know, have the energy rolling.
It's also a good idea to change, or to maybe not to change completely, but to adapt and adjust the corners with new things. So from time to time, you would like to add some new exciting things so that it's like, it feels new, it feels fresh to children when they approach it. And when it becomes your habit as a parent, then your children will follow, and they will want to check on you whether you've added something new to the corner.
Or they want to do it with you, yes.
Or yes, especially with older children, you could do it together, or if there are siblings, more children, so you could do it for each other, you know, like you surprises every day or every second day. Needs to be joyful and exciting in order to work.
One thing I feel, can I?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
You see, one thing I feel is a huge bonding and restructuring a home is music.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Music is great.
For the family together at a certain time of the day, or whenever you feel like. Bring your guitar, bring your drum set, make a band in the house. You see, these are natural ways where a parent is getting time with the child. And where do you get this time? You don't. So that's part of that area in the 24 hours. We should keep some part of the day for communicating with the child through play and through music. I think that's a great bonding, emotional bonding happening. Yes, and therefore, when there's music flowing, there's happiness around.
Yes,
so there's no stress.
Yeah, plus, exactly. It takes away stress, music and dance, music and dance.
Dance, yeah.
Because sooner or later, when you start listening to music, you start dancing.
Right, and then the child will say, "Okay, let's have a party tomorrow."
Yes,
so I'm
and this is an excellent way to facilitate children's physical and sensory development, almost as a home-based PE, which is excellent, and it's very needed during these, you know, times when most children, you know, sit at desks or watch something on screen. You know, movement. And with music and dancing, this is the best way of moving around, especially that we sometimes, or very often now, cannot go outside because of the lockdown.
Yeah. So we should take this time best, even if you're not a guitarist, even if you're not a pianist, but strum the guitar for whatever reason, but sing along with them. And that makes wonders,
This can lead to so many spontaneous
many expressions of the child. He just opens up or she just opens up. And then her footsteps tap because she wants to dance. So then next day they say, okay, let's have a party. So you see the whole scenario becomes a happiness environment.
It's an exciting journey, yes.
And happiness, the moment there's peace and happiness, other things will flow naturally.
Of course.
So there's one question for Nellie, ma'am, and it says, it's from Seema Borua. She says, is it that role of parents have become more challenging now?
Yes, Seema Borua. We are also taking the challenges of your child to us through the virtual classrooms. But parents, yes. I think there's a CBSE directive that parents will have to go hand in hand with the school in guiding your child in the house. And that's very important because schools are there as facilitators. We can only guide them up to 5-6 hours per day. The parent anyway has a lot to take on hand. lot of responsibility. We do take them. Don't push the child to the school saying that my child can be taken care of. No way. We are all together. The parent, the child, and the school. We are a triangle.
Yes.
Yeah, Seema, don't worry.
We
The
have,
virtual classroom will keep your child happy. And we are going to send a lot of songs so they'll keep tapping and dancing.
Absolutely.
So we have about 7 minutes more to go. So any more questions from the attendees? Welcome.
I think there was a question related to homeschooling from Soumya Satish.
Okay. Yeah, I think.
Can you see that? Homeschooling is very much adopted in other parts of the world. Social skills, communication skills, peer learning is something that is going to miss, I think.
Missing, yes.
Missing. How to overcome this situation? I mean, probably how to address the possible challenge of social skills, communication skills, peer learning in homeschooling, home education. That's a very classic question, I think, coming from parents who are considering and thinking about homeschooling full-time, especially full-time. So
we are often asked this question, being homeschooling parents, how do we cope with the social skills, communication skills, peer learning? It's very, very possible, and homeschooling offers wonderful opportunities for high quality communication skills, high quality social skills.
Hi, Anubha.
Wow, I finally come in.
Oh my God, that's so wonderful. And this, please.
Welcome here.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. We were missing you.
Oh, let me say, I need to say what I had prepared. Yes. Now,
Shall we finish the question and then proceed, or how do we?
All right. Yes.
There's a lot of echo coming from you, Anubha.
Okay, so maybe very quick. There's echo.
There's a lot of echo now.
Lots of echoing.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Echoing.
That's fine. Perfect. Yeah. Can we hear her?
Okay, so anyway, so shall we continue addressing the homeschooling question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So briefly, since we don't have much time.
Okay, so let's.
Homeschooling offers beautiful opportunities for high quality interaction when it comes to building relationships, because we can handpick the environment for our children to participate and to be with. You can connect with families, other homeschooling families on a regular basis.
Can be live, can be online, face to face.
These families often gather in places for social interaction, for joint activities. We ourselves often participate in such gatherings around the world, all countries we've been so far. There is always homeschooling families, people who get together a few times a week as families, and children take part in all kinds of activities initiated by the groups. Yes, so the children can decide who they want to interact with more closely, and this allows them to build high quality relationships. So this aspect can be easily taken care of. It just requires a little bit of research and organization. That's it, yes?
With all the children, it works perfectly, very often online. For example, our son, as you know, he's 14, but he's got friends, online friends from all over the world, and he likes to talk to them and chat to them and play with them whenever they can and whenever they feel like to.
And some of them we met.
And some of them we meet in real life. Yes. In face-to-face interactions, if we are there, or if they come somewhere and we are there as well.
Organizing your time and researching what kind of activities are available, what places we can meet. private places, public places for
Yeah.
homeschooling gatherings.
Another one.
Okay, so I would just ask Anubha to speak on, you know, the situation and how we can, you know, future-proof our children. So that's my question to you, and probably after that we'll wind up. Yes.
You know what I want? I wanted to speak about was, I mean, I would admit that the COVID-19, the pandemic has been a great level and a complete eye opener. Can you hear?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Go on.
Yeah. And it was something that was most unimaginable. And I have to admit that the children have been the real heroes because they've been able to stay cooped up in their homes, which normally would have been so difficult to do, knowing fully well that they're so fond of being in school and their friends. Now, when we're talking about future-proofing our children, I would say technology and skill development is very important, but I would want to emphasize on the importance of having a perfect balance of mind, body, and now, what exactly I would mean by this is being mentally, physically, and spiritually healthy. In fact, WHO defines health as a complete physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. Now, what I'm trying to say is, from the moment a child comes to school, in most cases, not all, parents and educators are only interested in marks and grades. Right? They don't care about the journey, it's just the destination, good mark. Now, I would want to ask, do you think a 90% chance is better equipped to face this than 40%? Definitely. So what I'm trying to say is, what's most important is that we lay a lot of stress on EQ rather than the IQ. And what do we mean by the EQ? By EQ, we would mean ability to control our, the ability to get along with people, the ability to relate and be empathetic to our near and dear ones, and to be able to make relationships and work in communities and teamwork. Now, I have this lovely quote by Theodore Roosevelt, who says, "No one cares how much you know until they know how much you care." So what I'm trying to also get across is that the emotional quotient is in many ways the essence of being human. In fact, a high EQ is the secret or the driver of success. Once you're able to control your emotions, you have full control over your mind. And once you are able to control your mind, you can control your life. So emotions, or to have a high EQ, is very, very important. Again, how do we ensure that children have a high EQ? I think, again, from the very childhood, we must ensure that both the atmosphere and the environment at home and in school are safe, secure, and nurturing. And lots of love for the children. The children need to feel or have that feel-good factor. And they need to have a good self-esteem. So this was the mental being of the child. After this, I come to the physical part, where I feel if you have a healthy body, mind. So it's important that every child is very, very particular about being fit and exercising. Because when we even exercise, it sends oxygen to, and when oxygen is sent to the brain, you do release happy hormones, the endorphins. And what more do you want than you have happy? Again, just the way we give importance to academics, we should give importance to sports. Sports have lots and lots of benefits. Teamwork, resilience, discipline, and most importantly, It's never meeting or reaching a destination. You're always trying to improve on what your game was the previous day. And again, we need to teach the children to love their bodies and look after it. And finally, what would I mean by the soul? I mean the spiritual well-being. And for spiritual well-being, we need to see that the children are very mindful. Meditation and mindfulness must be in the curriculum. What exactly do we mean by mindfulness? Mindfulness is a powerful tool that supports children in calming themselves, focusing their attention, and interacting effectively with others. And I think they're all very critical skills to help you function at home and at work. These days, children are so distracted. In fact, even when you're watching a movie, you hear a slight beep of your phone and you would want to attend it. So it's important that we teach children to be present in the moment. And definitely we must not glorify busyness or multitasking. And I also believe that mindfulness gives you a lot of answers to your unanswered questions. Being mindful also helps you in being grateful. And I think being grateful is something which children need to be taught. And finally, both meditation and mindfulness use a lot of stress. So I feel if we really need to future-proof our children, what is most important is a perfect harmony of the body, mind, and soul.
Holistic. Absolutely. It's a holistic, yes, the holistic approach. We are already 5:05, so I think we have exceeded our time. So
I wanted to say one more thing.
Yes,
I wanted to say about the environment. Just the way from the childhood we are taught to be responsible citizens of the country, I would want that we should also be taught to be responsible inhabitants of the earth. I think this COVID has taught us a lot, meaning to say we've managed to live with the minimum. And we've realized it's not important to have a lot to be happy. So I think we should do less shopping, minimum wastage, less consuming. And if we do all this, we are only saving the resources of our Mother Earth. We protect the earth protects us. It's a two-way street. And I think this is something which is very, very important. The term sustainability, in its truest sense, should become a part of each one's life. Because we talk of future-proofing, but I'm sure if we look after Earth, there would be very many problems that would not even exist. So before future-proofing our children, I think we need to start making them more conscious towards our Mother Earth.
Yeah, well said, Anubha.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think this is an environment where the child will be learning themselves. They will realize how little we can do with ourselves. We are in the next generation, the parents, but the children will be learning by themselves. Oh, this is the resource we have and this is what we need to do and this is what we need to use. So automatically they have got the lesson for themselves through this environment.
Yes.
Yes, I think very well said, Anubha. I suggest that we should carry this forward. And also the artificial intelligence will automatically build up in the children, because this is a time when they will be thinking and researching in their own minds that why is it happening? Why is it going on? And that is a lesson for them anyway.
Yes, self-directed experiential learning is actually the future of education, as we all agree. We arrived at this conclusion, yes? Self-regulated direction experiential learning.
So I think we had a wonderful session, and I would, there's a few problems when we just joined in. Anubha just came in late, and there was a little difficulty in the conducting the session. We are very sorry about that, but I hope all our attendees must have learned a lot after hearing our esteemed panelists. I feel that yes, we need to future-proof our children. And Magdalena, I think you have a on homeschooling or something. Would you want to share the link to that? Yeah.
Yes, it's a you will have access to free training module.
Right. Yes.
Supporting your children's language at home as a gift from us.
Right.
Yeah.
So you can share that.
I just sent it on top.
Yeah, we just got it. Yeah.
Yes. So parents can get into the link and have a demo and get to understand how to go about it. And I think we are at the close of today's.
Yes, Monica Chaudhary.
She's given a question.
Yeah, probably to whom we don't know. What is the question, Madam Monica?
Does EQ work better than SQ?
Ah, yes.
No, I think definitely, because EQ is your mind. I mean, unless your emotions are in control, you can do nothing.
Nothing, exactly. And you have got to have peace of mind. Emotional intelligence is something very, very important for children of today.
Yes.
Just added the link again because it's not highlighted.
Thank you, participants and parents who have attended today. We feel encouraged, we feel motivated to work more and more for our children of tomorrow.
Yes, it's been a wonderful discussion, and it seems that we are so much aligned to what future-proofing means. And
absolutely, yeah, we must connect again and do more sessions together, Anubha.
Absolutely,
Yeah, so bad is being rushed. Oh God.
That would be very nice, and we take a good topic, and then we, keep on our discussions further.
Absolutely,
We must do it again.
Yes, we seem so much aligned. And
yes, and there's so much to discuss within this time. We have lot of time to research and find out.
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
Thank you, Soumya, Satish, Seema, Barua.
Yes, we hope
to have more discussions
from the discussion that all participants.
Yes, parents are thanking you all. Shanti, Mahesh, to all the panelists, wonderful session.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So hopefully speak to you again very soon.
Right. Very good. Thank you.
On a similar topic, but let's stay in touch.
Okay. So thank you again, everyone, and hope to see you and speak to you again, the participants.
Yes. Thank you so much.
This time on a musical session.
Yes, why not? Yes, and
Yes,
physical education maybe as well. Yeah.
Okay. Yoga, music.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. Okay. So bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye. Thank you, Anubha.
Thank you, Nellie. What a pity.
I know, what a pity. Only five minutes you could get.
I know. Doing it in a rush. Doesn't happen anyways.
Yeah, but we'll do it again.
Yeah.
Because we have so much of time in hand.
Yeah. No, and there's so much you can speak also. I mean, you could have said so. Anyways, nice meeting you. Bye, Nellie. Take care.
Bye. Bye till we meet again. Okay?
Yes,
bye.
Bye.
Unfortunately, that's more than enough. Ruchi was there and then Shrey rang up. Mausi ko boli iPad थोड़ा ऊंचा करें. I said she is using a mobile now. थोड़ा सा ऊपर जो हाथ में नहीं पकड़े उसको कोई चीज पे रख दें. Watching you.
Yeah.
Bring them up. Ask her how it goes. Don't use my. तो झूमर को क्या है?
So cute, yeah.
वो झूमर भी है दबाने कितनी देर से इसको sitting.
Oh, we can hear you, and sir. It's on still.